Hey, what's up everybody? It's Kellen here from Start Your Systems and welcome to Track Walk episode 79 in MX Simulator, the 2016 Hangtown National, a track made by Ryan Mahan, Race Carlin on the decals, SMR on the objects and shadows, with a few other things done by Barrington, Chris Riesenberg, Wheels, and apologies to whoever else I am forgetting. But typical Hangtown track. I will note that in this section up here, you will notice that the left off this drop-off into an off-camber swooping back to the right and the switchback section being gone is not on the track. That is because they based this off the 2015 Hangtown National. So technically, it is a little bit incorrect in the time that it is placed, but that's how RF chose to do it this year, so apologies for that, but usual, same kind of stuff going on this track. The long downhill, big double. Bumps are really big and tricky on the track this week. Lots and lots of ruts and line choices, that's for sure. Usual uphill roller section, whoop section, really whooped out this year. And then it's really rough getting into the corner, and it's a very tight U-turn as well, so got to be careful in that section, but I'll explain that further in the making of the lap segment, so you can hang around at the end of the video for that. Got some pretty interesting stuff to talk about in the making of the lap segment today. Probably get you very interested. And then we'll have the onboard lap here in just a minute. Here's the big Racetech 150 jump on the MXS version of the track with the Racetech banners. And then a 180 U-turn. Pretty cool to see my banners. You can see my banners here off the left side of the track. It says Start Your Systems and it's got our logo. Like seeing us being advertised, so a huge shout out to SMR for making that happen. Big old step up in the back, and also cool to see that the crowd is back. We haven't had a crowd at an outdoor national in who knows how long, man. We couldn't sell a ticket to these dang things if we tried. There's always blank tracks, but now we got the crowd back. Alright, so back through the mechanics area one last time and a right-hander to the finish. So go ahead and take an onboard lap with me, and then of course hang around for the making of the lap segment right there at the end. Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to the making of the lap segment here on Track Walk episode 80, I think we're on. If not, it's 79. It's one of those two. But we're doing Hangtown this week, of course, as you've already seen, and there is a lot of things that I can talk about on this particular episode of Track Walk. I'll start off first by saying, if you're new to this format of video. You're watching the making of the lap segment here, which is where you get to see me actually live play through and actually turn these laps that you will have then already seen. You'll see a lap already, and yeah. So you're watching me actually play it live play. Like I'm playing, see, screwing around, jumping back up and down and stuff like that. What else? So tonight kicks off round 1 of the Race Factory Gaming National Championship, which is the Ride365.com Professional National Championship in MX Simulator, presented by... I should know that, but I don't. Alright. It's something. Anywho, so that's kicking off tonight, as I said. Oh, Versus PC. Duh. Why did I not think of that? Presented by Versus PC. It's actually powered by Versus PC. As I said, that kicks off tonight. So you can join us live at twitch.tv/startyoursystemstv. And that will begin at 5:45 p.m. Pacific. That's 8:45 p.m. Eastern. And you can check your local time if you're confused by that, as opposed to, compare it to when that is Pacific, when that is Eastern exactly. Get a better understanding of that. And I will use this moment to maybe clear up a little bit of confusion about all that. As I said, we are streaming round 1 and all 12 rounds of the Professional National Championship in MX Simulator, just as we did for Supercross. And we released a statement on Tuesday of this week confirming that myself and co-founder of this channel, Jeremy Hinters, would both be partaking in all 12 rounds of the National Championship. Well, since licenses were tossed out the door with the new pay-to-play system, we no longer have restrictions of us racing the 250 class, and so Jeremy is hopping back down to the 250 class like he was going to do for Supercross, and he'll race 250, stream 450. I will stream 250 and race 450, so we have everything covered. We both get to race, we both get to have a good time. We actually enjoy it, and we get to keep streaming for you guys, which of course is super fun and exciting. So sorry about the confusion if we tried to mess you up or something there. If you follow us on Facebook, we actually did clarify that we will both still be streaming and just switching off. But if you just saw our tweet about it, then you may have been a little bit confused. So yes, we are absolutely 100% streaming this. If there is an issue with either Jeremy or me not being able to stream it for internet reasons or whatever, then the other person then drops out of that class and takes over the stream. We're not going to half-ass it this time around. We're going to get everything right. And if there's issues, one of us will just bite the bullet and drop out. Neither of us are really championship contenders. Like Jeremy probably used to be a championship contender at one point. He's going to be good, but I think he's lost a little bit of his speed, and I'm just looking to race again. I'm not really trying to score massive points or anything, so just going to have fun. Not really expecting too much. Just we love outdoors way more than we like Supercross, so we're going to go out there and have some fun actually getting to race. So I'm excited about it, and Hangtown always has been pretty good to me for qualifying, so far so good in qualifying. I'm going to try to do the best I can lap time wise on this video for you guys, but I can't promise anything. My best is a 207.1, and that currently puts me in 13th place on a 450 in RF qualifying. There are guys doing 2 flats on the 450. There are guys doing 202s on a 250. So that just gives you an idea where the pros kind of are. I'm like a mid-range to, probably like right about mid-range pro. So you could expect 207 to put you at mid-range. I'll probably fall down to about like 30th qualifying with that time, but that's just because there's a lot of hot lap heroes. I just raced the Kenny Racing World MXSGP today, and I went 11.8 for 9th, but I qualified 23rd, so that gives you an idea. Racing versus qualifying, there are some serious hot lappers in this game that have no racing prowess whatsoever. But regardless of that, that's just to kind of clear up the stream schedule for those of you that may have been confused. And Jeremy and I will both be racing, so I'm looking forward to it. But I wanted to spend a large portion of this video kind of clearing the air more or less about this whole pay-to-play system going on that RF's doing. There's a lot of frustrations in the track walk, I think it was, that I did last week, where I just briefly mentioned it. Like, I grazed over it. I wasn't even trying to bring it up. Just briefly mentioned it, and kind of all hell broke loose. There's a lot of comments about it on the channel. Not a really defining statement made by me to clear the air about any of that. So just so you know, for a little background of this story, for those of you that aren't really familiar with Race Factory Gaming or what's going on, Race Factory Gaming began 5 years ago, late 2011, started running races. It was hosted by Charles Adam Sweeney and Michael Wheeler, aka Sween and Wheels. And they had the EVS Supercross Open, they had the Winter Indoor Series, and then they started doing the Pro Supercross and Nationals. Before RF, there was no national championship. There was just an MX Simulator Supercross Championship that JLV ran, who is the creator of the game, JLV. But RF, since that first installment year, 2012, has hosted the professional Supercross and Motocross Championships in this game, with the installment of AMS now coming in here and there. Their focus is not on AMS whatsoever, so that's why AMS always get fed up with RF. But just so you know, it's a pro series that they're trying to run, not an AMS series, so calm down. AMS need to host their own stuff sometimes. Anyway, RF's been around for, like I said, about 5 years now. They've had 5 successful Supercross Championship campaigns ran for free, and now technically 5 because they were a huge part in the 2011 championship before RF was even started. So technically 5 completely perfectly ran for free outdoor campaigns. And so it was with great displeasure for some, but hardly most. I mean, I would say a few percentage of people are really actually upset about this, and most people are pretty content, and we know this to be the fact because we have had an overwhelming amount of support and memberships already brought about to the table to this. But what RF decided to do for this outdoor campaign was make it a $25 system. If you paid $25, not paid, sorry, donated $25, which is, again, you're gonna probably come under fire for me for saying that. It's not, and say it's not a donation and yada yada yada. RF runs as a non-profit. I am very legally inclined to understand all this, so you don't need to try to come at me with your legal bullshit. I understand every implication that you're gonna try to throw at me, but I also know the rule book about legal taxes and all this crap that everybody seems to keep bringing up. So if you're trying to prove me wrong, you're going to get it wrong big time. They can run as a non-profit and still make some bit of money. The donation bit part of it goes back to us to help with computer parts and hosting the series and paying for servers and all that stuff that it costs us this whole time. And they were still doing it for free. I say we because I'm technically a part of RF. I haven't done much of anything in the way of hosting or protest filing or anything like that since about 2014, but they still consider me part of the group as a streamer, so I appreciate their constant connection with me, and that's why I say we. But don't come at me with your legal bullshit. It's all good, seriously. You can try to prove us wrong, but you won't, so knock it off. But the reason that the pay-for-play race system came about, and I should clarify that I never really finished my thought there, but it's $25 to be able to race all 12 rounds on RF for the Motocross Championship. And if you do decide to donate that $25 to race all of the rounds, you also get the privilege of getting the track 1 month prior to official full release. They will be releasing the tracks for free to everybody, not just donators, to everybody a month after the race. And fortunately for you complainers about this, Hangtown is free for everybody because they decided they wanted to do that as sort of a thank you for being more or less cool about it. There's a lot of people complaining, not a lot, I shouldn't say a lot. There were some people complaining on the forums, maybe about 6 or 7, and there was a good 3 or 4 of you guys that came in hot on the comments in that last video, as I said. And, you know, I'm trying to talk you guys off the ledge here. I have said in the past, I'm not a huge supporter of the pay for play thing or pay for models, really. I mean, my biggest pet peeve is when people make them pay for models, which is, again, legally inclined. I kind of understand a little bit more about that than most people probably do. So don't try to come at me with proving why it's right or wrong. I know what's right or wrong, so calm down. But I think the models thing is a little over the top, especially when there's $100, $150 being thrown around for a single model, as opposed to these the ability to race a full series and 12 tracks early release, basically, for $25. So calm down. RF and JLV are closely affiliated but have nothing to do with each other. So those of you crying bloody murder about MX Simulator and JLV, get off his back. Has nothing to do with JLV. It's an RF decision that really, to be honest with you, needed to be made, or there wasn't going to be an outdoors or RF anymore at all. Those guys donate a lot of their time and efforts into creating these tracks with little to no return, other than some bitching 13-year-olds on the forums constantly about how bad the tracks are or how bad the series is ran. But now, you guys have pushed it to a level where they're going to make you guys eat your words with some cash a little bit. And as I said, not the biggest fan of it. I didn't necessarily super support the decision, but I understand where they're coming from in the aspect that if it wasn't going to be paid for in some aspect, it wasn't going to be done at all. So you guys need to realize that bit. You wouldn't have a national track, you wouldn't have national championship, you wouldn't have any of this if they didn't decide to go this route. And it's the top-notch, top-tier track builders in this game, race hosters in this game, putting on the best series that has been in existence for the last 5 years in MX Simulator, and people are seriously losing their bananas. Some people, not all, some people are losing their bananas over it. So I'm trying to kind of clear it up for you guys so you can understand a little bit better, then make your own decisions. But as of right now, I feel like people are just seeing money and throwing hate crimes at JLV and being super pissy at Race Factory in general, and more or less not really understanding what all this means and what is going on. So for those of you complaining about the tracks not being free, shut the fuck up. Like that's how I'm gonna put it, because they are free. They're just only gonna be like not available to you for a month, and then they're free to everybody. So calm down, because most of you kiddies out there aren't gonna play the game anyway until, you know, a few months after the Nationals or whatever. And I'm sorry that you don't get to experience the track right now, but you will eventually, and then you can play it as much as you want, as much as your leisure. You still get the tracks for free, even if you don't pay the $25. Still get it. Calm down. It's just I'm not trying to be a super dick about it or anything, but my God, I have been trying to talk people off the ledge all week. There are some serious, uneducated, non-understanding, like 15-year-olds in this MX Simulator community that really just don't understand which size shoe is supposed to go on their foot, much less why this system has to be this way. So, you know, again, if you want, go ahead, you can call me a hypocrite, because I said clear as day that I didn't think I'd ever support the pay-to-race thing, and I really don't feel that I do. I'm just trying to speak about why RF did this, and we're still streaming this series because, I mean, it makes huge inroads and honestly revenue for us on YouTube. So we love streaming for you guys, and we want to bring you guys the stream, and we weren't going to back out of this just because of the pay-for-play thing. We're obviously very, very close relationship with Chris and Wheels and Barrington and Race and, you know, Mason and pretty much everybody that has been and is involved with RF, so SMR as well. I'm of course leaving a few people out, but we have a really good group of guys that help out, so hopefully that clears it up a little bit for you guys. There's a lot of brouhaha, more or less, about it all, so just wanted to make sure that any of those of you that go onto the forums and want to cry bloody murder about it, at least get your knowledge down a little bit first, because you can go ahead and bring up any number of things, but don't worry, everybody that is associated with RF is an adult. And most likely the people complaining are not. So you don't really know much of what you're talking about, to be honest with you, if you're going to complain about some of this stuff. And we know a little bit more about it than you think. So, like I said, hopefully that clears the air. Hopefully that's a better understanding for you. We'll, of course, kind of talk about it all when we get the stream kicked off tomorrow, or tonight, I should say, so that those viewers who are just simply viewing the series and want to see what the series is like, you don't get lost and not understand what's going on. And again, even, you know, those of you that are not going to pay or don't want to pay, Hangtown is out. You can get it for you know, no charge. No, you don't need to buy the membership right now. So you know, we'll be including the download link. I will say though that every track walk that we do on a national after this is unfortunately not going to include the download link. We only do track walk because we like to show off the track that is coming in real life. That's more or less why we do the real stuff. We like to show off tracks in show off tracks in sim in general, and that's what we use those live track walks for during the off season, so we can simply just show off a track. But we show off these national tracks so that people who aren't familiar with our channel or whatever see, like, oh hey, Hangtown track walk, like what's this? And they come on and then they see MX Simulator, which again is one of our favorite games of all time, so we like promoting it when we can. Maybe they get interested in it, and if at the very least they get to see what the track that's coming up in real life looks like. So that's why we're going to keep doing these track walks on these tracks. The download link will not be available on the tracks until, of course, a month after the release of the track. So those of you that will complain, sorry, it's just going to be the way it is. And then as soon as we're done with nationals, we'll get on to doing the live stuff again, episode 100 of track walk and all that fun stuff. And then yeah, that's how it's going to go. And for those of you that are confused why we're doing Hangtown right now and what's going on, if you haven't been following it, RF decided to delay the first round just to ensure that everything was 100% set to go with this new system that they're trying to implement, so that there wasn't any sort of bugs that needed to be ironed out after round one and some people complaining and yada yada this. So they decided to delay this. The first 3 rounds of Race Factory are now going to be in successive weeks from here on out, and then we're going through the break, which is after round 3, which I want to say is Thunder Valley. So we'll go right through the break after that and just continue on with going into round 4. So basically from here on out, it's 12 weeks straight of MX Simulator Nationals. So buckle up tight, it's going to be good. Evo, big old Race Tech 150 jump on this track. Man, I played this track a couple hours last night, I would say. I'm recording on a Wednesday, played it on a Tuesday. And I was just struggling to find any flow right now. I feel like I'm kind of flowing, but not putting full laps together. So, like I said, I did a 2:07.1. I think I could probably lower that if I really put in the time. I'm assuming that this lap that I just am doing right here, if I can finish it off, is going to be the lap that you guys will see, depending on what time it is. I don't know what that 2:11 looked like at all, because I was too busy talking about the tracks and everything like that. And we'll see what this is. 2:11.3. So at least one of those laps is good. Anyway, like I said, hopefully some of that stuff cleared the air so you guys are a little bit more straightforward on what's going on. Like I said, some of you are going to be mad. Some of you are just going to be A-okay with it. We know at RF that so far the support is overwhelmingly good and not bad, and that there's only a few kind of bad eggs in the community that are really crying bloody murder about this. So for those of you that are just being cool about this whole scenario, that's awesome. Again, from my point of view, I'm not saying I'm the hugest advocate of it, but I'm just trying to kind of speak the piece, being devil's advocate here, if you will, because I can understand the frustrations from where you guys are coming from, but I'm trying to explain more or less why everything is the way it has to be. So at the very least, we hope you enjoyed this video. And if you're gonna be mad about that stuff, that's cool, whatever. But please don't blow me under the bus for it, because in the end it really wasn't my decision. Yeah. Thanks for watching Track Walk episode 79 or 80, one of the two. Here on Start Your Systems. I want to say 79, now that I really think about it again. If you like this video, please like it. And hit us with your comments. Of course, I'm sure there'll be a slew of them after I did this whole debate kind of thing on this video. And then, yeah, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And we'll see you guys next time for Track Walk, I guess, episode 80 here on Start Your Systems. My name is Kellen Brower, and we'll see you guys then.